Hi, my name is Olatunde, and this lecture will be a continuation of the previous lecture. Let us begin. The next course of this lecture drives us straight to comparing two or more fractions. In order to compare two or more fractions, we use the symbol greater than or less than. Let me give you a quick tip. The symbol greater than can be represented with your right hand like this. So when you see this symbol, that is greater than. While the symbol less than can be represented with your left hand as an arc like this. So when you see this symbol, that gives you less than. So to compare two fractions, we usually use less than or greater than. Let us now take an example. We're trying to find if the fraction 5 all over 7 is greater than the fraction 1 over 3. Now, how do we know if the fraction 5 over 7 is greater than the fraction 1 over 3? In order for us to do that, we need to make sure that the denominator of both fractions become the same. How do we do that? We use the denominator of the second fraction, which is 3, to multiply the denominator of the first fraction, which is 7, and also multiply the numerator 5 by that same 3. That gives us 5 multiplied by 3 gives us 15, and 7 multiplied by 3 gives us 21. So the fraction 5 over 7 becomes 15 over 21. The next fraction we have is 1 over 3. So how do we make 1 over 3 to also have the same denominator as the new fraction 15 over 21? We consider the denominator of the earlier fraction, which is 5 over 7. So we use 7 from that fraction to multiply both the numerator and the denominator of the second fraction. So we'll have 1 multiplied by 7 to get 7, and 3 multiplied by 7 to get 21. That's the fraction 1 all over 3 becomes 7 over 21. Now we are going to consider the numerator of both fractions. The fraction 5 over 7 has now become 15 over 21, while the second fraction 1 over 3 has now become 7 over 21. You would agree with me that 15 is greater than 7. Therefore, since 15 is greater than 7, it means that the fraction 5 over 7 is greater than the fraction 1 over 3. Let us now move to another example. We want to arrange these following fractions to see which one is greater. The first fraction we have is 1 over 2. The other fraction we have is 4 over 5. We also have another fraction, 3 over 5. And the final fraction we have is 7 over 10. So how do we know which fraction is the greatest, followed by the next and the next? The fraction again is 1 over 2, 3 over 5, 4 over 5, and 7 over 10. The first step is to ensure that all these fractions have the same denominator. The closest denominator to all of these fractions is 20. So it means to take 2 to 20, we need to multiply by 10. To take 5 to 20, we need to multiply by 4. And to take 10 to 20, we need to multiply by 2. So we begin. 1 all over 2 becomes 1 times 10 all over 2 times 10. That gives us 10 over 20. We keep that. The second fraction, which is 3 over 5, becomes 3 times 4 all over 5 times 4. 3 times 4 is 12, and 5 times 4 is 20. So the fraction 3 over 5 becomes 12 over 20. The next fraction we have is 4 over 5. That is 4 times 4 all over 5 times 4. 4 times 4 gives 16, 5 times 4 gives 20. That is 16 over 20. And the last fraction we have is 7 over 10. We have 7 times 2 all over 10 times 2. That gives 20. So that fraction, 7 over 10, becomes 14 over 20. Now, when we arrange the numerators of all these numbers in increasing order, you would see that 16 is greater than 14, 14 is greater than 12, and 12 is greater than 10. So to order these fractions in ascending order, that is from the smallest to the biggest, would have 1 over 2, 3 over 5, 7 over 10, and finally 4 over 5. Moving on now to the next section of this lecture, I'm going to be talking about decimals. You'll recall that when we talked about fraction, we said a fraction is a part of a whole item. Take for example, if an item is divided into 10 parts and we take 4 parts out of the 10 parts, we usually write it as 4 over 10. 4 being the numerator and 10 being the denominator. But in decimals, we do not write the denominator. However, when we want to write 4 as a part of a whole item, as a part of 10 items, we simply write it as 0.4. The point is used to separate the 0 and the 4, showing that that is a decimal. So other examples of decimals could be 5 over 10, which we would write as 0.5, 5 over 100, which we will write as 0.05, 343 over 100, which we would write as 3.43. Now, numbers like 0.5, 0.05, 3.43 that we just considered are decimals. What do they really mean? 0.5 means we have 0 whole number and 5 parts of 10. So that is 0 whole number and 5 over 10. 0.05 on the other hand would mean 0 whole number and 5 over 100 parts. That is 5 parts out of 100 items. 3.43 on the other hand would mean 3 whole parts and 43 parts of 100 items. To be able to describe decimals, you would need to know the place value of decimal numbers. The next table you'd see now is a description of the place values of decimal. However, we are going to start with tens, which is 1 and 0, unit, which is 1. However, when you have 0.1 or 1 over 10, that is 1/10. When you have 0.01 or 1 over 100, that is 1/100. When you have 0.0001 or 1 over 1000, that is 1000. When you have 1 over 10,000, that is 1/10,000. When you have 1 over 100,000, that is 100,000. When you have 1 over 1 million, that is 1 million. Following examples now will be used to describe how to pronounce decimals. We're going to learn how to write decimals in headed column and also how to write decimals in word. The first example we're going to consider is 31.0472. The first thing we do is to write the number in place value. 31 goes under tens and unit. Then we have the point. We have 0472. 0 goes under tenth, 4 goes under 100, 7 goes under 1000, and 2 goes under 10,000. That is writing in headed column. So how do you pronounce 31.0472? That is 31.0472. You'd notice that numbers after the decimals are pronounced as single numbers. That is 0472. The second example we're going to consider is 0.00076. Now, how do we write that in headed column? The first 0 goes under unit. The second 0 after the point goes under tenth. The next 0 goes under 100. The next goes under 1000. Then 10,000. Then 100,000. Now, how do you pronounce that? Pronounce it as 0.00076. The next example is 549.16497. We write in headed column as 100, tens, unit. So 5 goes under 100, 4 goes under tenth, and 9 goes under unit. 0.16497. 1 goes under tenth, 6 goes under hundredth, 4 goes under thousandth, 9 goes under 10,000, and 7 goes under 100,000. So how do you pronounce the number? You pronounce it as 549.16497. Thank you very much for joining me on this lecture. However, we will continue this lecture in the next. Bye.